Coming up on a very special edition of Gimme the Hot Sauce, we'll have an array of big-name headliners joining the show.
If I was half the man I was 25 years ago, I'd put a flamethrower through his head. Because he gets his points across like this every single time. Because I don't know how he goes on for 8 minutes talking like this, then ranting like this. I don't know.
You know what? I was laughing all the way through it. I thought it was like watching one of those comedy shows on Comedy Central. It really was. They should have added the laugh track in.
Plus, we're tired of all this snow, and Stacey King had to go into superhero mode on his drive back from the United Center on Monday.
Quick hands, just the impulse, the truck was coming. There was not enough space for him to get in, but he made enough space. I mean, it was like, seriously, like Megatron off of, I thought it was the Transformers.
Loving the music. John doing a great job on the audio board. Welcome into episode 16 of Gimme the Hot Sauce. We always like to have a lot of fun here. We got a special treat coming up in our next segment. We've got a great entertainer, a great impressionist. Al Foran is going to join us all the way from Ireland. He does some great impersonations from the boxing world, so he and Stacey are going to have a lot of fun talking about all the things coming up in the world of boxing. And we're going to talk about the NBA. We've got baseball news, football. We got the usual cast here. Stacey's standing by. Big John Walsh. Southside Susie is here. Timmy Whispers. And we want to thank our sponsor, the good folks at Bubble Up. They sent Stacey some new swag. Stacey looking good with those Bubble Up sweatshirts.
Yeah, I just want to send a shout out to Bubble Up for taking care of me. I really appreciate you guys and being a sponsor of the show. That's awesome.
Yeah, special shout out to Todd and Portia for taking care of us. We're looking good in our Bubble Up gear. Want to remind everybody to download the app. Bubble Up is the new way to visually organize any kind of content all in one place. It is the cloud reimagined. So make sure to download that app. We thank them for taking care of us on the show. And Stacey, you've been having a lot of fun calling Bulls games. You and Adam are really hitting your groove there, and the Bulls have won 2 of the last 3. A nice win over the New Orleans Pelicans where they shot the lights out, and then an overtime win in Indiana. They had lost 10 straight games to the Pacers. They found a way to win that game in overtime. Good signs of growth for the Bulls.
Yeah, they're playing well. They're getting everybody back, Mark. Their bench is playing extremely well. The thing I like about them is that, I say this every night. When they move the basketball and they get in that 20 to 25 assists range, most likely they're going to win the game. And they've done that the last couple of games. And I like to see them continue to string some games on and just keep it going.
The game against the Pelicans, they set a record for three-point shooting. They had 46 from Zach, 30 from Kobe White. That was impressive stuff.
Yeah, it was. I mean, the way they shot the ball, they talk about the Splash Brothers. I call them the Cash Brothers because it's straight money, okay? Whenever they shoot the basketball, in that particular game, it looked like everything was going in. It was really great to see Kobe kind of get off to, a better start. He's been struggling with his shot going into that game. I think for the first 2 quarters of the previous games, he was 0 for 11. And a lot of people were, wondering what the problem was. Was it mental? Kobe's going to be a great player for the Bulls, and to see him snap out the way he did, and now he's got his groove back. He's starting to really play well for him.
And the nicknames are back for the King. You got a great one for Thad Young that you coined a couple of weeks ago. I did a radio show the other day, and they're asking me, hey, what do you think about Thaddeus Johnson? I'm like, the King's got another one.
Oh, Thaddeus Johnson, man. Hey, listen, with the way he is playing like kind of Magic Johnson. That's why I call him, because he's Thad, so I call him Thaddeus Johnson. And he's been huge for the Bulls this year. He didn't get to play in preseason because he was hurt. Didn't play the role that he's playing now under Jim Boylen. So it's really awesome to see him, get to finally play like everybody's used to seeing him. Because if you follow, Thaddeus Young's career, he's a starter in this league. He started a lot of games in this league. He's got a lot of years in this league, been in the playoff games. So his experience on this team is invaluable. You just see the way he talks to the younger players, Pat Williams, Kobe White. He's constantly coaching. As Garrett Temple and Tomas Sanareski is, they're all working together. They're all great vets, and I think that's the reason why they're winning right now.
It's amazing when you watch them with that unit, how the ball moves. you think we're going to see more of maybe a mixture of them with Zach, or with 60 rebounds the other night too, and that big 15-6 run at the end of the game? Most of those guys were on the court.
Well, I mean, they've been consistent all year long. They're one of the top benches in the league. So this is not like a surprise during this stretch. So, there's nights where the Bulls' second team moves the ball better than the first team. I mean, they out assist the starters. So when you watch those guys come in, it's a fun thing to watch because they know how to play. And you got to remember, and I say this all the time, these guys are not just bench players. These guys, Sato was a starter in this league. Garrett Temple's have been a starter in this league. And now you got Thaddeus Young, who's been a starter. So you're bringing starters off the bench to play good minutes against the other team's reserves. Most nights, they're going to have an advantage just from those three players.
And you always see when a guy's having a great year like Thad Young has, people will say, well, he'd be great with a contending team. So now all these contenders are circling around Thad Young going, how can we get him away from the Bulls? NBA trade deadline is March 25th, so it's a ways off. But I think there's going to be a number of contending teams trying to get him away from the Bulls. I guess the decision for Arturas is, do you want to cash him in for a very late first-round pick, or do you want to have him stay here because he's got another year left on his contract and help in the development of their young big guys?
Boy, I tell you, it's a tough question because the fact that he is so good with the younger players. I think he's helped Billy Donovan and their coaching staff, out, especially with these younger players. Because, when I came in this league, we had, Bill Cartwright, John Paxson. Michael was in his 8th year. So we had veterans, Craig Hodges, Charles Davis, guys who had 8, 9, 10 years of experience, and coming from Oklahoma, and then BJ from Iowa, and we had Jeff Sanders, coming from college, we didn't know what the NBA was all about. We didn't know how to prepare. We didn't even know how to eat. I mean, we were eating McDonald's all the time because that's what we were used to in college. And then to have veterans like Bill Cartwright take you to the side and say, no, you need to eat this, you need to eat this, you need to get sleep, stay out the clubs, get some sleep at night, don't go out on the road, because one of the things that me and BJ as kids, used to do a lot. I think we visited every mall in America when we played for the Bulls and we came in as rookies. I mean,
what's your favorite?
Oh man, it just depends what the city was. Like if it's Los Angeles, we used to love to go to Los Angeles and hang out there. I would say probably LA. The malls in LA, is just the best. I mean, not to mention, this was when I was younger. I didn't have commitments at that time, but there was a lot of girls back in those days in LA.
There still are a lot of girls.
Yeah, I'm trying to keep a happy home, man. Okay,
California girls.
Yeah, okay. You know what? Let's just change the subject right now before I end up in divorce court. Okay, honey, it wasn't me. It was my team.
I thought they maybe had some good Chess King outlets.
Who wore Chess King?
Well,
you wore Chess King? It wasn't even in when it was in.
Hey, I know Polo was a reach back in the day, so I don't know.
Members only.
Members only.
You were the only member. You're still wearing it.
Hey, that jockey find his horse.
Hey, buddy, I can afford Polo when I got to the league. Okay, all right. And Hunt Club was a future sponsor, but they're no longer a sponsor because of John just now talking about you guys. I'm sorry. Hey, Hunt Club, we love you. Hey, I spent a lot of my high school career with Hunt Club on. I wasn't proud of it, but I just want to know it's no one your fault. I'm glad you put the man on the horse, though. That's all. They got a man on the horse now. Thank you, Hunt Club, for putting that man on the horse.
Thank God that guy found his horse.
Okay, get the laugh track. Where's the laugh button at?
Hey, speaking of nicknames, as he looks for that laugh track, you got a new. Yeah, there you go. Well, no, not exactly.
Wrong.
The cheers are nice, but. Okay.
There you go. Memorize that button there, buddy.
You gotta label that better.
Hey, speaking of nicknames, you got a new nickname for J-Dub over here.
Oh, Stinger.
Yeah, the Stinger.
So we're having...
It's not Mike Glenn. It's not John Walsh.
No, the reason why I gave him that name, listeners, is we're doing a Zoom call yesterday. And so we're on the Zoom call. I'm listening. We're going over what we're going to talk about on the show today. And then I look over... and I see this thing on his lip, and I thought it was like chocolate or some dirt or something. So I said, John, man, wipe your mouth. Like you got something on your mouth. Get your mind out the gutter, viewers. Okay, get your mind out of the. It was dirt. It looked like it was dirt, but it was a soul patch kind of thing.
Soul patch.
It's a soul patch. Okay, so I said, he goes, that's not dirt. it's a stinger. So I said, a stinger? What the hell is a stinger? He's like, it's right in my chin. It's a stinger. I'm like, okay, all right. So I gave him the nickname the Stinger because he had a little dirt patch on his thing, but it didn't turn out to be dirt. And I asked Southside Susan, did she like it?
Oh,
And Southside Susan kind of blushed like she did. Like she really liked it.
I took the fifth on that.
See?
no, you said you kind of liked it.
I'll post a picture on the
Yeah.
website.
Southside Susan, her face turned red. She blushed over there. She's like,
Such crap. That is such crap.
it's sexy. It's sexy.
Even
I'm like, oh my goodness. Get a room.
And the ladies will like it too.
Oh yeah. All right, Frank Thomas. Hey, and she'll like it too.
They call that a landing strip at Stateville.
We done went off the
Whispers,
wall,
baby.
Timmy Whispers. Why do they call it? Why do they call it that?
I don't know. Maybe you could explain your facial hair.
Okay, Timmy Whispers. So that's Stinger now. So he's no longer J-Dub, he's Stinger.
Who's blushing now?
You know what, Susan? You know what? Now you just need to just sit your little butt right on over there, Southside. Stinger!
You know, Stacey, you're talking about eating right when you're a young player in the league, and Timmy Whispers just came back from making a Wendy's run at lunch. So we're kind of falling off the horse ourselves.
we
here.
are.
Pretty bad.
But hey, you know what? That's what Timmy Whispers does, man. He provides the beer, he provides comedy, and we went to Wendy's today.
And some crappy food.
Yeah, and we're and
Hey, another
and the
sponsor.
Aldi beer.
There he goes again.
Oh,
Yeah.
Where's the Aldi beer?
Well, I love it, but okay.
Where's Steve's? Where's Steve's beer? Instead of Stella, I need Stella, but you got Steve. Where's Steve's?
No, it's Stella.
He's over there. He's over there hesitating. Oh, yeah, Stella.
I had to print my own labels and put them on, but it's okay.
It's Stella Hunt Club.
Call it Cavarici beer.
Okay. All right. Back to the show, Mark.
Yeah, we're recording this at the midday because Stacey got a game added to his schedule. They're supposed to have a game in the Bulls in Charlotte. That got postponed because of Spurs coronavirus issues, and they played the Hornets the other night. Instead, it's replaced by the Pistons coming to the United Center. Stacey had all these big plans for his days
I was
off.
so excited. You know, I love doing the games, but when they said, "Oh, there's no game tomorrow. It's coronavirus, yada yada," I'm like, "Great! Now I can just relax. I can just go do things, catch up on things that I haven't been able to do." And so I'm sleeping yesterday, and I get the phone call. They call the bat phone. When they call the bat phone,
Yes, Commissioner.
Yeah, when they call the bat phone, it's serious. So I answer the bat phone. We got Detroit on Wednesday, and I'm like, when? Next Wednesday? Like, no, Wednesday, tomorrow. And I'm like, you can't even say anything.
Yeah.
Just say I hang the phone up.
Stacey's like, I'm
Hang
not
the
a
phone
surgeon. I'm not on call. I mean, what's going on here? This is scheduled.
Hey, I'm telling you, man, because whenever you get a day off, because it would have been what would have happened is because we found out that ESPN is taking the Friday's game.
Yeah.
So we would have been off Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday,
Sweet.
Friday until Saturday. So I'm like, yeah. I mean, I can't go anywhere.
Right.
So, so I'm just stuck at the house. I can just, play like some Caribbean music in the house, go on the, like the Discovery Channel and act like I'm on
Just
the beach
imagine.
somewhere.
Yeah.
Yeah. Walk around and not like John in a singlet and oil, but just to kind of walk around the house, Bermuda shorts and a polo.
Clean up
and
after
some sun.
Brixie.
No,
and
Brixie,
go-
no, you know what? Brixie and my dogs are potty trained now.
Oh,
They're potty trained.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
That's
they're
a big
potty
step.
trained. It's a huge step.
That's a big
You know what?
update.
It is dun 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 dun. Ladies and gentlemen, I just want to show my little American bully puppies are now potty trained. One is 23 weeks, and the other one is 13 weeks, and they are now potty trained. It's awesome. But I'm gonna tell you right now, they've been boycotting going outside the last few days because it's been extremely cold. The other day, I was taking Kobe out. And I'm walking out there with him, and he's staying at the garage. I'm like, okay, bud, come on, let's go. He just looked at me like, man, you better go on back inside. I'm finna poop somewhere inside. It's too cold out here. And he would not go. He would not come.
so I thought he was potty trained.
He is potty trained, but he did not come that particular time. So what I did is
Close enough. What is this?
no. Listen, you gotta listen. First of all, if you know anything about these dogs, short-haired dogs do not like the cold. So I had to go back in the house and put his little sweatsuit on. He has like a little hoodie. So I had to go put his little sweatsuit on.
Is it a bubble-up hoodie?
No, they don't make it for dogs. They should, though.
They
Bubble
might
up.
start,
They
yeah.
might start.
Does Minzy have a pullover? Mark?
Yeah, she's got some stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. Don't try to make it
Fine
look like
fashion.
don't try to make it look like it's just me. Mark's dog Mimsy's got one too, and I'm sure your dog has something.
Wait.
Old
Dude.
Brady.
No, and Bella.
Okay,
No.
yeah, okay.
Hardcore, baby.
Okay.
Hardcore. They're out there.
So I had to go put the sweatsuit on, and so he had a little hoodie on. He was cute, and he went out and went to the bathroom. So I learned now I got to put clothes on him. I never wanted to be that guy because you always see like ladies doing that, dressing little dogs up.
you are that guy.
I am that guy now. With
welcome.
Kobe. Yeah. So you don't think that's going to notice what you're saying over there too. Okay. All right,
So Stacey was looking forward to having a few days
Stinger.
off, and one,
Stinger.
I think that's going to stick.
We'll see.
You can shave it off, but the nickname I don't think is going anywhere. One of the things that's going to be happening in the NBA, as Stacey was looking forward to his 3 days off, was the NBA All-Star starters will be announced during the TNT doubleheader Thursday night, and I think we have a pretty good handle on how that's going to go down. I mean, usually there's some argument over a couple of spots, but it seems this year the 5 starters in both conferences are pretty clear. Maybe in the West you could argue should it be Doncic or Lillard, but if you're looking at the fan voting right now in the East, the front court is going to be Joel Embiid, Giannis Antetokounmpo, and Kevin Durant. And then in the backcourt, right now, Kyrie Irving is second in the voting behind Bradley Beal. So the way it works is 50% is the fan vote, 25% the media vote, and 25% the players get a chance to vote. So do you think those results will hold up, or do you think there might be some late change based on what the players may say, Stacey?
Well, I think in the Eastern Conference, having James Harden and the way he's playing, he's going to make a strong push to be a starter.
Right.
And I think the media, when you say the players in the media have the remaining votes, I think that's going to hurt Kyrie Irving's case because the way he's portrayed with the media. So I think that's going to hurt them. I think the players will help him, but I think the media will kind of hurt him.
So you think Harden might catch him in the final analysis and maybe get that starting spot?
Because you got to remember, James Harden would have been a starter in the Western Conference.
Right.
Okay, so it doesn't, just because he changed teams doesn't mean he's not an all-star. And so now he comes over to the East, and with the numbers that he's been putting up since he's came over from Houston, it really demands that he's an all-star. Whether he starts or whether he's a reserve, he's going to be on that team. And with that hurts anyone that's playing in that position.
Like Zach LaVine.
Yeah, it really hurts Zach's chances. We all believe Zach should be an all-star. He's played like an all-star the last 2 years. Should have been an all-star last year. But his position is so loaded. You know, I mean, now they moved Jaylen Brown in there as a 2 guard, that's kind of a joke. But you got to put someone in there off Boston. So, then you've got, Bradley Beal, who will possibly be the starter. There's just so many guys you got to compete against at that position.
Certainly didn't help hurt his case last night, Harden. 38 points.
And he hit that game-winning 3, cold-blooded 3 over Mikal Bridges to give him the win. They were down 12 points going into the fourth quarter, and Harden brought them all the way back because both Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving sat out. Phoenix had won 6 games in a row. They were playing at home. Chris Paul hit some big shots down the stretch, but I'll tell you what, James Harden, people think that just because he scores a lot that he's a selfish player, but he led the league in assists a couple of years ago. He's probably going to lead the league in assists again this year. As you mentioned, when we were getting ready for the show, you can kind of plug him into any system because he is willing to give up the ball when that's what's required.
Well, that's what's so amazing about when he was on the market, that other teams didn't try to go get him. Miami had a chance to pull the trigger, but they didn't want to part with Duncan Robinson or Tyler Hero. And now you look back and you go,
what?
Why? Why? With the way Miami's playing right now. And listen, you can find shooters anywhere. Okay, but you can't find James Harden type players anywhere. That's a generational.
Well, look
talent.
at the kid Max Strus is lighting it up now off the bench for Miami.
Yeah,
he's a similar player to Duncan Robinson.
That's what I'm saying. So you can
the
find.
guy.
Yeah,
right.
he was here with the Bulls.
With the Windy City Bulls last year.
He was with the Bulls. And he got hurt. He tore his ACL up. But that's what I'm saying. My point is, you can find shooters.
Yeah.
You can't go into the D League and find a James Harden. You just can't. No. You can't find a Kevin Durant. You can't find Kyrie Irvings. Those guys are generational talents. So when you have a chance to get one who's like right at the start of his prime, man, you might want to try to get him, to help your team, because that's where, in my opinion, you put him with Jimmy Butler on that Miami team. Ooh. Ooh.
Yeah.
Yeah, now Miami, they're starting to play better because Jimmy Butler's back. They're getting their guys back in the starting lineup, but they may be in a situation where they go out and try to get like a Kyle Lowry, and maybe they could have had James Harden if they'd been willing to pay the price.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I would have. I think not grabbing James Harden when you had a chance and giving up one of your young shooters, because Tyler Hero is a very good young player. You don't know what his ceiling is. You don't want, is he a 2? Can he play some point? Is he a combo guard? You just don't really know. And in this league, and we're seeing it with Milwaukee, if shooters don't make shots, then there's really nothing they can do. Is he a great defensive player? Is he a two-way player? Not this early in his career. We don't know that. But, James Harden, what you do know is a generational talent. What you do know is he gets buckets, and he can make everybody around him better, and he's a triple-double machine waiting to happen.
And I'm assuming at this point he's probably, not that he hasn't had something to prove before, but I would think being in the East, being away from LeBron, this could be a really good opportunity, and maybe he's going to have something to prove here. Everybody's been jumping on him for what happened in Houston, but, man, he's motivated, I would assume.
I think his motivation is going to come from just based off of what everybody, the beating he took and how the ending in Houston went. And I think he's trying to repair his image, trying to show that he can play with other people, that he's not a cancer, but he's got to take some onus of what happened in Houston. You asked for all these people. They created a system when they went out and traded for him in Oklahoma City. They paid him like a starter. They paid him like a star player. Okay. They gave him a team. They put the players around him that he wanted. He had a lot of say-so, especially towards the end of his career there. So you got to take some onus of what happened there. You can't blame the front office. They didn't give me enough players to win. You think of all those players that came through there. You had Chris Paul, Russell Westbrook. You had a ton of players that's come through there. Trevor Ariza, guys that were good rotational players. So, and it didn't work out at the end because, again, they get to a certain point and they phase out because that style of play works in the regular season, but it doesn't work in the playoffs.
So you take James Harden away from the Western Conference. That's going to open up a spot in the starting lineup as we mentioned, the starters were going to be announced Thursday night. In the West, you're looking at LeBron and Kawhi Leonard at forwards, big Nikola Jokic at center, and then Steph Curry and Luka Doncic in the backcourt. Doncic and Damian Lillard locked in a pretty tight race for that second spot in the backcourt. But I'll tell you what, watching Steph Curry play this year has been so much fun, seeing him back to 100%, because people were thinking, well, he's over 30 now, Clay is out, Kevin Durant's gone, is he still going to be that good? Well, I'll tell you what, he still is that guy.
Yeah, he's putting up the same numbers that he put up when his MVP season.
Yeah,
and that's
over 30 a game.
That's crazy. He's shooting a high percentage, and him being back on that floor really just like enlightens the team. Like they're a whole different thing. And then when Klay Thompson comes back, that you're going to see a whole different energy because those guys just bring something to the table, man, that that other guys don't bring.
And AD is hurt again. He'll probably get named to the starting line or the reserves by the coaches, but he's going to miss a couple of weeks. They're calling it a calf strain. Originally, they were worried about there might be some vulnerability with the Achilles tendon, which no athlete wants to hear. That's a horrible injury to come back from. But they can slow play it because as long as LeBron and AD are healthy in the playoffs with the additions that they made, that is a formidable group out in L.A.
Well, and then there's a rumor that, if Detroit buys out Blake Griffin, that Blake Griffin is going back out to Los Angeles and will play with the Lakers.
How about that? Why not, right?
That's the rumor.
The rich get richer.
And Detroit is trying to move him and trying to trade him. But everyone knows, like, first of all, he's got a contract. And then second of all, teams are not, because he's not 100%. And teams are not going to want to, give up a lot of assets for a guy who's at the end of his career.
He ain't jumping over any cars anymore.
Yeah, he's had a great career. He's just not as explosive as he once was. But the thing about Blake that he'll fit in with the Lakers very well is because he's got high basketball IQ and he's still got a skill set.
Yeah.
He's still got a skill set. So they don't need him to do that. What they need him to do is to come in, grab some rebounds, assist, score, be a threat on the floor, which I think he will be. If they get him, it's a wrap.
What's really interesting is I saw a stat the other day that he hasn't had a dunk since December. I'm like, well, that's a little bit a while ago. And I go, no, December of 2019.
What?
Yeah. Blake Griffin.
No way. I can't believe
Forget
that.
about jumping over cars. He can't jump over the line.
He's not hitting too many threes these days either.
Wait a minute. Are you serious?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, we need to hit our stat checker. You're my stat guy, tracker. Go, Timmy Whispers. Look that up, man. I can't believe Blake Griffin has not dunked since December 2019.
Well, he's missed a lot of games.
Yeah.
That's part of it. Yeah. That's a big part of it. He didn't play much at all last season.
I'm going to tell you what. I mean, listen, he may not be as explosive as he once was, but he still can do a lot of things that can help a team win. Just him being on the floor, the passing, his knowledge of the game, and he can score still in there. He just, you're so used to seeing a guy jumping over everybody.
Oh, the cars. But yeah, I'm not break up this riveting conversation about the NBA, but we have Al on hold, so we
got to bring him in. We got the entertainment portion of the show.
Do you want to bring him in now, or take the quick break, or how we want to?
Quick break.
We'll take the quick break. Get ahead, Mark.
Get ready to laugh.
Stand by, Mark. Take us to break.
We've got entertainment coming up. The great impressionist Al Foreign is next on Gimme the Hot Sauce. Oh, is Tom Jones coming on too?
Oh, the same thing.
Unusual to be loved by anyone.
Oh my God.
Well, she's all you'd ever want.
Oh man, the stinger on the audio board.
Stinger!
Tom Jones, she's a lady. I don't know exactly why that's going to fit with our special guest that's going to join us now, but we'll try to figure out to make a connection. Yeah, he's pointing at a poster of the Rat Pack. I don't see Tom Jones.
I don't see Tom Jones there.
Sorry, John.
We want to welcome in just a masterful entertainer. He has his own podcast, the Al Foreign Podcast, which you want to check out. And he does some wonderful impersonations, sports world, entertainment, politics, you have it. We want to welcome Al to the show. Stacey, how did you first become aware of this guy's talent?
I was on Twitter, and that's, I was just scrolling through Twitter, and then I saw his name pop up, and then I hit it, and I was hearing him, talking, and he was, it was like, impersonating Conor McGregor. And I said, let me check him out, because Conor McGregor is one of my favorite UFC fighters. So I said, let me check him out and see if he sounds like him, because I hear people do it all the time, and they sound nothing like him. Just butchers it. So I hit it and I'm listening to him. I'm like, oh my God. Like, he sounds, the laugh, from everything, the mannerisms, it sounded just like him. And I was a fan, so I started following him. And then I started looking at all his, he posts videos on Twitter. So, he does like Joe Pesci, Al Pacino. I've even followed him on YouTube, and I've just been a fan ever since. His impersonations are dead on.
We do have Al. He can talk too.
Hey, you know what? First of all, the question was to me. It wasn't to Al. You're being a smart ass today, Stinger.
I just say, Al.
Go ahead, Al. Go ahead and answer, since my guy over here is being rude.
Hello, gents. How are we?
We are doing wonderful. And Stacey is a big UFC fan, so he was pumping up the Conor McGregor fight, thinking that was going to be a walkover, and Conor ran into a bit of a buzzsaw.
He did.
So if you would give us your reaction to what happened that night for Mr. Conor McGregor, because he thought he was going to win the fight, have a little proper Irish whiskey, and enjoy
proper
the
12.
evening. Proper 12, yeah.
Well, you know what I mean. I did have some Irish whiskey after the fight. You know what I mean. I had some of that fine proper 12. Even though I lost, you know what I mean. I still earned in the region of about 20 million. So I'm laughing my way out to the bank. You know what I mean. It was very good. I thought the game plan, the game plan was a little all over the place. We went with the boxing side of things, and it kind of backfired on us. We went away from the MMA. And that was when my leg was like a bleeding balloon after the fight, you know what I mean?
So was it red panty
Red
night?
to Dustin, though. A lot of respect to him. I like this nice guy image I'm bringing around as of late. It's great. Do you know what I mean? I think a lot of people can appreciate it. They don't want the mouthy McGregor at the press conferences. So I will continue it. Absolutely.
Hey, Connor, was it red panty night for Poirier?
Oh, 100% it was. Listen,
20 million.
it's red panty night for anyone who comes up against me. Win or loss, do you know what I mean? I'm still earning more money than the fella who beats the shit out of me, so listen. Right?
Hey, Connor, do you really like the fight? The last few years, it's like you're retiring, you come back, you're retiring, you come back. What's that all about?
I would like to, I would like to call myself a student of the game. A lot of people say I don't have the passion for the fighting. I still do. And anybody else thinks otherwise, you know what I mean? That they can go whatever themselves. I don't know if you can swear it on this.
You can say whatever you want to say, Connor.
Listen, they can go fuck themselves as far as I'm concerned. That's all I have to say about that. I have a great passion for the art of fighting. So, yeah. And I will go back into boxing. And if you don't like it, I don't give a fuck.
Hey, speaking of boxing, Bobby De Niro, you had a couple of great boxing movies in your day, but you had the mafia movies like Goodfellas and what movie what's Bobby D's favorite movie?
I don't know. What's yours?
He's talking to you, John. He's talking to you.
What am I gonna say?
Like Goodfellas, maybe?
One of the later movies, one of the the straight to DVD comedy movies.
No, those are all terrible. Bobby
Watch
D.
Is that what you're
Stallone.
looking for from me?
Easy money.
That's easy money. Yeah, it's good. It's not too bad. I don't know. Maybe Raging Bull, Goodfellas, Taxi Driver. There's a couple. A few underrated ones there as well. Bronx Tale. Nobody talks about that. I directed that too. So, yeah. What else do you want me to say? Huh?
How's your relationship with How's your relationship with Al Pacino? Both of you guys are two of the best actors of your generation. And how do you guys? Is it competition between the two of you guys?
No, there never was. We're good friends. We talk on the phone a lot. He hurts my ears sometimes when I talk to him. He talks so loud, but no, he's great. Believe me, he's a great guy. And I gotta tell you, we may as well do the transition. Every time I talk to him, he just says, yeah. There's nothing from him. I don't know what to do. I don't know. I try to get a conversation out of him, but all he does is complain about the ex-president. I said, he's fucking gone. You don't need to complain anymore.
Oh my God! Just like him. That's awesome.
I tell you, it gets
Goes
crowded.
on national TV complains about him, and then he's gone. There's a new president, but I'm still hearing the complaints. I don't know what the fuck to do. I don't know.
So what did you think about Donald? You lost the election, Donald Trump, and what do you plan on doing now on your free time since you have a lot of free time?
Well, there's lots of wonderful, great things to do in my free time. Believe me, we've got some fantastic things. It's very exciting. I'm a former president. I'm going to be treated with great respect like every other former president. It's a really fantastic thing. We're looking at a network that could be really good. A fantastic, wonderful Trump network that people can tune in. This would be really great. And believe me, it would be more popular than anything. It would be fantastic. A lot of people would tune into that. So we've got great, wonderful plans. We really do.
Wow, that's awesome.
Hey, Mr. President, you beat the rap on the impeachment trial. The Senate decided that they were going to acquit you. Did you ever think you were in danger there of being found guilty?
You know what? I was laughing all the way through it. I thought it was like watching one of those comedy shows on Comedy Central. It really was. They should have added the laugh track in during the whole thing. That's the way I viewed it. I danced throughout the whole thing. I was dancing to the YMCA, my favorite, the song I used for all of them. It really was fantastic. So I thought it was hilarious.
Hey, Joe Pesci, I want to get back to some of the Goodfellow moments in that movie when I'm thinking
I'm
funny.
Is he in the kitchen too, Joe Pesci too?
Are you think
crowded
funny?
in Al's place?
How do you think I'm funny? Do I make you laugh? How am I funny?
Every fucking schmuck tries to get me to do that shit. Every time I'm on a podcast or I'm interviewed, they say, "Oh, what?" They ask me about the funny thing. I'm like, "What the fuck you talking about? What do you want me to do? What the fuck do you want me to do? You want me to fucking come through the screen and beat the shit out of you? What the fuck's the matter with you? What the fuck am I supposed to do? I'm sitting here like a fucking idiot."
Oh my
What you
God.
laughing at, you piece of shit? What the fuck is wrong with you? You want to do
funny.
a
You
funny
make me
thing?
laugh.
The
You're
clown
funny.
thing? Well, you want to play the Ray Liotta role? Go on, do a fucking Ray Liotta impression for me then. Go on, do it, you fucking come on.
I don't know what to say. Funny. Oh my God.
Ray's there too.
Joe Pesci, though, I just have to completely just go crazy at people.
Oh man, that is awesome, dude.
The
That is
stinger got lit
awesome.
up there.
Yeah, Stinger's he's a little flustered
reeling.
over here.
Bring it on, man.
You got him, Joe. Way to get him there, Al. Joe and Al, baby.
Hey, Al, Stacey's known for some impressions as well.
No, I'm not. Anyway, no, I'm not. Okay, so don't even jump back in there and say that again. Hey, so can you do Obama?
Oh, here and there. I mean, it's I tried it out maybe 10 years ago, but it's a generic kind of Obama impression. It's not like, what's his name, Jay Farrow. I think he does an amazing Obama. He was on SNL.
Yeah.
It's it's kind of like that. Okay, I've got the kind of tone there, but I have to try and perfect it in some other way. Okay,
That's great.
kind of has
That's
the shouting voice.
That's awesome.
What about the new president, Joe Biden? You working on that at all?
He's tough because I kind of think it's strange. He kind of sounds similar to George Bush when you're doing an impression with him. It's because I can't do a good Bush either. I do an okay Bush. My Bush is more like that. Okay, very much straight to the point. The eyes are very much closed. But when I'm doing President Biden is very much like that. Of course, I played on the Nintendo. I played the Mario Kart on the weekend. It was incredible. So it's it's a hard one to perfect. I'll get there with it, but like some impressions take months, and then some I can learn in a day.
Wow.
It's a weird old process. It's weird.
Did I hear you could do Stephen A?
Yeah, I did Stephen A in a video before. I don't know if but I talk very much like that. Okay, I'm going to talk about who the best NFL player is of all time, because he gets his points across like this every single time, because I don't know how he goes on for 8 minutes talking like this, then ranting like this. I don't know.
Oh man, that's awesome, dude. I tell you, that is a gift, bro, to be able to do that, man. I'm serious. That is a gift to be able to do. I love when guys are able to do. I think like I've seen Ari Spears do some impersonations. Jay Farrow. I mean, you're right up there with those guys, man. I'm a huge fan, bro. I'm a huge fan of yours, and it's like so awesome to get you in there doing some stuff. I mean, you guys shoot some more questions.
Yeah, the Tyson gets us going too.
Tyson,
we
yeah,
were
Mike
talking
Tyson.
about that beforehand. It's great.
Well, man, it's very much like that. I got my podcast, The Hot Box, and I've had some great guests on. I think one of the most obscure guests I had on was William Shatner. I had William Shatner on the podcast, and it was so entertaining. I mean, William Shatner looks 65, and he's nearly 90 years old, man. I don't know what he's doing. I gotta look at some of the skincare products that he's using, because he looks so young. You know what I mean? When I'm that age, I'm gonna look 105. I don't know, man. He looks great. Captain Kirk himself.
Spock, beat me up. Hey, we're going to talk comedy in our next segment as a segue, but we were back live on Sunset Strip, Richard Pryor and Eddie Murphy and Rodney Dangerfield, some of the greats. I mean, the Carson Show with Don Rickles. Who were some of the comedians or impersonators?
Al's a young man. He hasn't seen
Rich
all
Little. Well, I'm sure he has. You got YouTube, but I mean, to me, that's just pure laughter comedy. I mean, do you look back and any of those comics and inspire you?
Yeah. I had Delirious and Raw on DVD. I think everyone did.
Yeah.
I just used to watch it all the time as a kid. I loved Rodney Dangerfield. I had never really watched his stand-up when I was younger. I just would go back and watch Caddyshack I loved him in Caddyshack.
Can you do any Rodney from Caddyshack? Can you do
I know I'll have to work on that. Him and Judge Schmales as well. I'll have to go.
Ted Knight? Yeah, Judge Schmelz. Yeah. There's no betting at Bushwood, and I never slice.
I love that movie. Well, we're waiting. But, I'd say my hero in comedy, not an impressionist, a writer, and probably released the best comedy in years. It's Larry David.
Yes, yes, he's one of my favorites. Curb Your Enthusiasm.
He is a genius.
My favorite
that man's
show.
A national treasure in America.
Yes. A lot of people don't know how he's affiliated with the Seinfeld show.
Yeah, that's
He's
his
one-
show.
yeah,
That's
it's his
baby.
show.
Yeah, the George character is based on him.
Oh man, I'm gonna
Yes.
tell you. I don't know if you've watched Curb Your Enthusiasm.
Oh yeah. all
Oh
the time,
my god,
all the
that
time.
is
That's
a
great.
classic.
Well,
It's
Seinfeld.
amazing.
Yeah.
How about the
My
Saturday?
fiance hates it. She doesn't get it.
Really?
It's a show about nothing.
But then she says that, and then I show her snippets from it, and she's there laughing. And I'm like, what? You say you
Yeah,
don't like this.
yeah. My wife didn't like it either. I still made her watch it. Sit down and watch it, woman. You make me watch these chick flicks all the time. You owe me one.
I'm currently watching The Sopranos at the moment. This is my third time watching it. I've been doing the Tony Soprano impression for years as well.
Oh, you have?
You know, so,
Yeah, give us some of that.
Well, you know, it's very nicely. I'd be very much like that. The way you're talking. Everybody's a pain in my fucking ass. Holy Christopher. Fucking Carmela. Talking every day. I don't know what to fucking do. Where's your fucking gabagool, huh?
And Paul, I just love Paulie as well. You know, Paulie's just
Yeah.
I'm working
Oh,
on
Polly Walnuts.
Yeah, I actually saw him in some movie a couple weeks ago, and I'm like, wow, he's out of The Sopranos. It just didn't seem like it fit. Like he's got to be Paulie Walnuts.
Yeah, it's
that
got to
guy.
be Polly Walnuts. Is there any other athletes that you're working on that you like to do?
I remember because I watched when I watched The Last Dance last year. I had to do a video of a couple of impressions kind of around it. So I did Scottie Pippen, but I did it at 7 o'clock in the morning, which is the best time to do that impression because my voice is perfect.
Yeah.
It's perfect for a deep pitch impression, you know. And then I did Rodman.
Then I seen that one.
The Rodman,
You know, was very much I was talking, and of course I played with the Bulls and played with the Pistons, and there were some good times, man. Some good times. We played some good basketball. You know, even though I went and fucked off and went to the wrestling, I just said, you know what, fuck it. Came back, we won a championship, so who gives a shit?
Hey, we mentioned at the top that you've got your own podcast. How do you strike the balance between being an entertainer and knowing that your audience wants you to do those impressions and still trying to conduct an interview and do an informative show? Is that a tough line to walk?
No, I'm getting used to it. I'm obviously, you know, I'm researching the hell out of every guest before they come on, and it's kind of, I'm trying to, it's formatted, but I'm trying to make it not look formatted in that in that sense. But yeah, as you say about the impressions, they're always left until the end of the show with each guest. Obviously, where I'm from in Ireland, soccer is huge. We have the Premier League over here, so I've had a few players from the Premier League. That I had Andy Cole, who played for Manchester United. He was part of that treble-winning team in 1999. I've had a couple of other ex-footballers on as well. So it's kind of the guests are mainly from the world of soccer and from the world of MMA and boxing. You know, I had Michael Bisping on, which he was a great guest. Really, really great guest as well, and Ariel Hawani. So it's just kind of researching each guest and kind of, you know, talking about their life as well, their childhood and other things, you know, their interests, not just what their profession is, you know.
So when you have you been on the tour in America and doing any tours, stand-ups and stuff like that?
No, never. I'd love to.
Yeah,
I'd love to do a gig.
Oh man, you'd be great. You'd be great.
I think that the aim for me would be to tackle something like, say, I know there's a lot of NFL impersonators. There's Frank Caliendo, obviously, who's just, I mean, that's the guy I emulated. He's just unbelievable. He's a freak with his voice. I don't know what he does with his voice when he does these impressions. It's just amazing, but yeah, I'd have to kind of delve into doing the NFL impressions, the NBA impressions. I know there's a lot of sports pundits in America that you can do. I know Stephen A obviously is one of them, but there's so many more that I could try and learn, so.
Could you leave us with an oldie but a goodie, go back to your Al Pacino, Son of a Woman, and take us out with a little Son of a Woman?
Oh, which line you want me to say?
Well,
out of order. I'll show you out of order. Hoo-ha. I can't remember the lines, but I think it was, if I was half the man I was 25 years ago, I'd put a flamethrower through this.
That's right. Give me some of that, John Daniels.
I'm sacrificing a lot here. I'm going to be in the fucking doghouse after this because my baby is directly above me. And I'm going to wake the fucking baby up. But who gives a fuck?
Al, you've been a wonderful guest, but we're not above asking for one more favor. The name of the podcast here is Gimme the Hot Sauce. That's Stacey's trademark line. When a Bulls player starts raining in three-pointers, Stacey will shout out, "Gimme the hot sauce." So if you can give us, maybe in your Conor McGregor voice, a little promo for listeners to check out Gimme the Hot Sauce with Stacey King.
100%. This is a fantastic podcast with Stacey. This man got in touch with me a couple of weeks ago. Great guy. Do you know what I mean? He's been following me for a long time, and it's a great honor to have a former Chicago Bull, complimenting me on that. So, I mean, I tried some of Dustin Poirier's hot sauce. That was some good hot sauce. But let me tell you, it has nothing on Gimme the Hot Sauce.
That's awesome, Al.
Al, you are the best. You've been so gracious with your time. We've been so entertained by your impersonations.
My pleasure, guys.
And how can people find you if they want to try to book you for an appearance, or give us your particulars on how they can find you?
Yes. Basically, my email address is alforeincomedy@gmail.com. As simple as that. If you want to book me through there, that'd be great. And also on Twitter, I'm at Impressionist Al. And then Instagram, Al Foreign Comedy again. And Facebook, Al Foreign Comedy. And I'm also on TikTok as well, even though my mind is numb after scrolling through it. But you got to be on every social channel.
Yeah, for
you
sure.
got to be on top of everything, But TikTok, Al Foreign Comedy too.
That's awesome, man. I really appreciate you coming on, Al, man. It was a blast, dude.
My pleasure.
You got a fan for life, bro. I'll be out there.
Sorry, I have to add in. I lived in Chicago. What was it? 8 years ago now.
Wow.
This coming summer, I went on a student exchange 3 months. I lived in Jarvis on the Red Line.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
Yeah, I lived very far away from the city. But yeah, me and 7 other guys, all Irish students, college students, in a 2-bedroom apartment in Jarvis. I stayed on a blow-up bed for 3 months, and it was the best 3 months of my life. I've never had so much fun.
Oh, wow.
No
That's
drinking or
awesome.
partying going on there, huh?
No.
Yeah. A ton of partying.
All studying there, Al.
There was one particular night where there was too much partying, and I ended up sleeping on the CTA, and I did the whole circle all the way back.
And nobody cared. Nobody noticed.
No, the bank card and the cash was gone, but hey, what can you do?
You got a good night's sleep, though.
The great
man,
Al
that's
Foreign,
awesome.
a rising star in the world of impressions. Thank you so much, Al, for joining Gimme the Hot Sauce. Best of luck with your career, and we'll be following you closely.
Thank you, guys. I appreciate it.
And
Awesome.
we're going to continue the comedy chat next when we go off the wall here on Gimme the Hot Sauce. We want to again thank Al Foran. How great was he with all those great impressions? We literally, Al, had to get a drink and kind of towel ourselves off. We were laughing so hard in that last segment. That was some great stuff.
Bad code violation. We had to go towel ourselves off.
Did you bring your own?
No, I'm not. I didn't towel myself
Stacey always
off.
brings his
Oh,
own.
no,
I thought you brought your own towels.
No, I didn't bring it today because I didn't think we needed to towel off. But Mark just gave me the memo just now. We all toweled off. I wasn't there for that one.
Hey, in these COVID times, it's only one person at a time in the restroom. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Oh my God.
Well, we want to keep the laughs going, talking about the state of comedy, and there's so many great acts out there right now. I think this is a really great time, and there's so much material out there. Of course, with the Trump presidency and this whole COVID era, that the comedians out there right now have some great material to go with. Stacey, who are some of your favorite acts that are out there right now?
I like D.L. Hughley. I wish Bernie Mac was still here. Bernie Mac was my favorite comedian. The Kings of Comedy is one of my favorite shows. It's just kind of like Raw with Eddie Murphy. That was kind of what we all grew up watching, Eddie Murphy and Raw. You heard Al Foran talk about that too. But the Kings of Comedy is a classic. You had Steve Harvey, Bernie Mac, D.L. Hughley, and then you had Cedric the Entertainer. So, I've got a lot of them, man.
Obviously,
big list.
I'm older than you guys, but I remember, growing up in Milwaukee, and this is back in the days where you got the one TV and the rabbit ears, and Dad would tell you what you're going to watch. But when Johnny Carson came
abuse.
on, when Johnny Carson came on, if they had a special, Rich Little, the great impressionist, Alan King, Rodney Dangerfield,
Don
when
Rickles.
you had Don Rickles, when you had a great stand-up act come on, everything stopped in the house. You had to watch this, and that was the way as a kid you were exposed to comedy. And some of the great acts of back then, you can see how they influenced a young guy like Al in his act, because you see some of these great impressionists, some of the great acts, and he's talked about the fact he loved Caddyshack because no matter how old you are, Rodney Dangerfield still translates.
Mm-hmm. Well, I would also say that when you watch that old, like Carson and Richard Pryor and Eddie Murphy and Rodney, like you mentioned, it's actually funnier because it's so outrageous compared to today. The things they say, I mean, it's just crazy. The things that they said and what they did, smoking on the set, drinking on the set, just killing each other. I mean, it's actually, to me, I can watch that over and over.
Well, people talk about the competition on the athletic playing fields, and you talk about the documentary they saw about the L.A. comedy clubs and Pryor and those guys going in there, the Comedy Store, and really fighting for their livelihoods because they wanted to be noticed by talent scouts for Johnny Carson and the other late night shows to really try to push their acts forward. And we're seeing that so many of the young comedians will pay homage to guys like Richard Pryor and the chances that he took that opened the doors for other comedians.
Yeah, I mean, Richard Pryor was, even before Richard Pryor, you had Red Fox.
Right.
You had Moms Mabley. There was a lot of people that were before Richard Pryor. Richard Pryor, I think, when you look what Richard Pryor did, I think he crossed over. He was able to go from being, just black comedy to appealing to everybody. Then that opened it up for Eddie Murphy to come through the door. So all those guys I said before Richard Pryor, they were banging on the door to try to get in. Richard kind of kicked the door in and then took it to another level. And then Eddie took the baton and now he took it to the next level. And now you got guys, I mean, you look at a guy like Dave Chappelle. Dave Chappelle is a creative genius. I mean, as far as comedy is concerned, one of the funniest guys out there. His stand-up is unbelievable. You've got, Kevin Hart. You've got Cat Williams. Cat Williams is one of my favorite. He's raunchy. He's kind of like a Richard Pryor raunchy, but I love him too. Ari Spears. We've seen Ari Spears a couple of times at the what's the comedy store we went to?
The Improv in Chicago.
The Improv. We go there. We try to visit there, during the summer when it's warm.
Remember as Michael Jackson?
Oh. Now you talk about even Al talked about Ari Spears' impersonations is very good. I mean, when you hear guys do other people's voices, I mean, there's something magical about that. I mean, it takes a lot of practice, and that's why you appreciate Al. All the voices he was able to do, just basically on we'd say something, he would pop it out. I mean, that's hard to do. It's totally different than regular comedy telling a joke.
I was amazed at how good as Stephen A. Smith was for a white guy from Ireland who probably doesn't see a ton of ESPN. That Stephen A. Smith was spot on.
That was good.
Absolutely.
I mean, his whole impersonation being from Ireland.
Yeah.
I mean, you go from a Conor McGregor, which would be easy for him because
Sure.
Conor's Irish, but then to go to a De Niro or Pesci, to be able to do that with the heavy accent, that's impressive.
and the recall with the lines. But I wanted to skip to, you were a personality as a bull. I mean, I know that the media loved you because you had personality and you were funny, and that,
I'm waiting for the punchline. Is there a punchline?
no, but
is there a dagger?
Watch out, the stinger. The stinger's looking.
No, the stinger. I put the stinger away for this segment. But I guess my point is that covering the teams, all the sports teams, it's nice when, for media members to have a player like a Stacey King who can sit there and tell jokes. And I was just going to ask Stacey, other than yourself, who were some of the funnier guys that you played with or played against that had great jokes and made you laugh?
I would say would be our team would be Scott Williams. Scott Williams and me, we really clicked. We both have. You saw when we had our show previous few weeks back. He has a great sense of humor. You got to have a sense of humor, man. Life's too short. You know what I'm saying? So I always tell people that, like, if you can't laugh and laugh at yourself, then what are you doing here? Enjoy the moment, enjoy laughter. And there's so many bad things that's going on in this country, in this world. Man, we've kind of gotten away from that as a country. We've kind of gotten away from, laughing and having a good time. There's so many things now. People take things personal, as a personal attack. I mean, when you go to a comedy store, and Timmy Whispers will tell you, you sit in a comedy store and the comedian comes out, and if he looks at you, and
it's over.
It's over.
It's over.
He's going to dissect you. Okay, it doesn't matter. When I go to the comedy store, I'm sitting in the back in the shadows because I don't want you to say nothing to me. Okay, so I've been to comedy in Vegas. I saw Eddie Griffin, show, and he picked me out of everybody. And I'm like, I didn't even know I was in here, but he knew, and he roasted me, and I thought it was funny, and I didn't get upset about it. But we take things so serious now.
I got roasted by Carrot Top.
Your brother?
Yes.
I
believe that's what he said.
Yeah. But I mean, like I said, comedy is fun. I mean, we've got to get back to being able to laugh at ourselves, laugh and have a good time. As long as it's not, something personal or stuff like that, just have a good time with it. We're so uptight now. Can't say anything because you offend somebody. You got to be politically correct. And, it's like, oh my God. What, can we go back to the old days where we were tougher, like leather? Like Clint Eastwood tough, can we go back to those days where, you had a good time, you could smile and laugh and enjoy being around the company of your friends and no one took things personal.
Doesn't it make you feel good too? I mean, I feel a lot better.
Everybody loves to laugh. Yeah.
A nice belly laugh. Yeah.
Listen, I tell you guys this all the time. I know you guys think I'm lying, but coming in here every week to tape this show, I look forward to it. Like I cannot wait because I have such a good time in here, and we are unfiltered in here, so it's like being at a bar.
Al sure was.
Yeah,
we apologize if anyone was offended, but this is real talk.
This is real talk comedy, and for him to do his impersonations, he had to do it.
He had to do it right. Yeah.
Well, King, that's all fun and damn, but this is a lot of work. I'm going to tell you, we spent a lot of time grinding.
Stinger, get away from the microphone. See, somebody gave him a microphone. He didn't know when to stop. But no, seriously, it's good to laugh. It's good to have a good time, man. Enjoy life, man. Life is too short. If anything has taught us through this pandemic, man, is life is short. Enjoy every moment. Live in the moment. Smile. Enjoy life because no one's promised tomorrow. And that's what people should take away from, especially during this pandemic, is life is short, man. Enjoy it while you can.
And what's really tough, Stacey, is when you have one TV and you got to get up and change the channel. That's tough. Those are tough.
Let me tell you something. You know what's really tough, Mark? Is when you have one TV and you got the coat hanger antennas, and then you got to change the channel with pliers. That's tough, Mark. So I don't want to hear about your beautiful life in Milwaukee because you had to get up and change the channel that had the actual channel thing to change it. I had to get up, Mark, with some pliers to change it. So You just brought back some memories that I tried to
We talked about
bury.
the Hunt Club. Now we're talking about the Pryors.
Yeah, and there were so many ghosts on the screen. It's like, who am I watching? And just watch the one in the middle.
Oh
you know?
my goodness! Oh, I remember those days, baby. Changing with pliers, changing the channel because the button fell off. We couldn't find it, so we had to use the pliers.
Wearing his Hunt Club shirt.
Tim, you probably didn't have to use pliers in your house.
He had remote controls.
Yeah, no, not in Barrington.
No, we tied a thread to the knob to turn it on so I could sit on the couch without having to get up.
Wow,
Creativity, yeah.
That's what we're all about.
Or he would call his maid. Betsy, can you change it to channel 7, please?
She was very helpful.
Wow! Jimmy whispers. Oh, wow! Oh, my
But
goodness.
getting back to that comedy, Don Rickles, he had that famous line that I don't think a comedian could say today. When you just say to somebody in the crowd, heckling somebody, you're like a Chinaman without a canoe. What did that ever even mean?
Oh, wow.
Wow.
Well,
You
seriously.
couldn't say that. You can't say that now.
No, but that was a common thing he said all the time to anybody. It didn't matter. It wasn't anything. They just would make a comment. He'd just say, "You're like a Chinaman without a canoe." I never understood what it
You're
meant.
digging
but we
yourself a hole, Tim. You might as well
No,
stop.
no,
Just
I think that's
stop.
the point. What's great about comedy, though, today is this is the last vestige of getting to say things that are not politically correct. So if you watch Bill Burr, Dave Chappelle, Joe Rogan, any of these guys on Netflix, that's where you can laugh again because it's always at the expense of somebody, and it's great to get that relief.
Yeah.
I just know how much Southside Sue likes listening to Stacey. She mentioned it the other night.
Oh,
But
my God.
I got to tell you, we're lucky because in Milwaukee, we got Bob Uecker. And that guy is gold. You talk about Don Rickles, but he's gold. I mean, he's just funny
How
all
old is
day.
Bob Uecker now?
He's 80,
85.
85. But man, talk about it. Like you said, just enjoys every moment, friendly. But man, he can turn it on, and it is just funny. And that, man, I wish, with sports and everybody serious, and, I'd like to see more of that. And I know that, we've got a lot of great personalities in the leagues and stuff. And I just wish that we were able to, maybe on a nightly basis, just relax a little bit, step away from the numbers and just, kind of entertain and laugh. Because I think most fans sitting at home with their pliers or their maids, that's all they really want. They just want to be, they just want to be entertained and laugh.
It's true. I watched the Bulls for 10 years when John was
You did?
working with you, Stacey, and now I'm on the Bucks. And to be honest with you,
You're playing?
I'm starting to flip back.
Okay.
Okay. We're going to edit that one out there.
We're going to be folding up.
John, we need to
I
get
think
your
it's
resume
time.
ready.
Talking about no sponsors. No job.
You got to like Susan's honesty. Brutal honesty.
All right, we're going to send Stacey for his towel, and we're going to come back with rapid fire next on Gimme the Hot Sauce. Laughter is our middle name.
Oh, man. Oh.
Oh, look at that.
Oh. Commodores.
You know what'd be really good right here? Be a commercial. We are back on Gimme the Hot Sauce. Time for rapid fire, a quick check on some of the stories making news around the sports world. And you won't hear any crass comments in this segment because Timmy Whispers had to go to a meeting. So we won't have any politically incorrect innuendo there from Timmy Whispers because you never know what that guy's going to say. Another guy who's known for saying some pretty crazy things is Draymond Green, and he took the mic after a recent Golden State Warriors victory and wanted to reference the fact that a little bit of a double standard in the league. Both the Cleveland Cavaliers and the Detroit Pistons announced they were sitting out a couple of their starters, Andre Drummond with the Cavs, Blake Griffin on the Pistons, because they intend to trade them. And Draymond took the opportunity to say, if a player demands a trade, he gets fined by the league. But when an organization says, we're going to hold a player out and we're going to move him along, everybody goes, well, that's a smart business move. What did you have to think about what Draymond said? He was pretty outspoken.
Well, I mean, he had a point when you put it that way.
Yeah.
I mean, so, and I understand where he's coming from. I could see the frustration because I saw the actual press conference. He believes there's a double standards. And, when a player does ask to be traded or, they do get fined. And so he had a point. I just think that sometimes when you a player like Draymond, you're speaking for everybody, and you may not be speaking for everybody. If LeBron James says it, Is it Kevin Durant says it? Maybe it's looked a little bit differently. Maybe people say, they got a point. But when Draymond, he kind of, he's screaming and he's upset, and it's like, he's just chill. Chill. And listen, at the end of the day, I'm always going to be pro player. Always. Okay. I was a player in this game for a long time. I'm always going to be for the players. But at some point, the players have gotten so much control that, it's like they're holding people hostage almost. They're picking and choosing where they want to play. They take them, they get these big contracts, teams give them these big contracts, expecting long-term production. And then when things don't go well, they want to be traded and go play with their friends and, pairing up. And, at some point, you've got to get control here. The owners have got to get control and say, hey, you know what? You signed a deal, signed a 7-year deal for a max deal. You're going to play that max deal out, and we're not going to be held hostage.
I don't know. It's because we're recording this podcast during business hours, but they're dropping like flies. We lost Timmy. Now Southside Susie's slinking out the door. She's got a big bubble up meeting she's got to go to.
Hey, the Stinger's still here.
Stinger's here for you.
Lord.
Hey, we did our research. Timmy whispers before he left that it was accurate. Blake Griffin hasn't had a dunk in an NBA game since December of 2019.
It's hard to believe.
The guy that jumped over cars and was a high flyer, Lob City.
Hey, listen, Father Time is undefeated.
Yeah, that's true.
I don't care how athletic you are. All these guys are going to go through it, and he's going through it. The thing that Blake has going for him, though, is that he can do other things. He's not just based off of just flying and dunking on people. He can do other things. He can shoot the three. He can stretch the floor. He can pass. He can put the ball on the floor, initiate your offense, score from different angles. So, yeah, he doesn't have the explosive ability that he once had that made him immortal, but, now he can do other things.
Can he jump over a tricycle now instead of a Hyundai?
Wow, you guys are hitting the man when you're hitting the man in the knee. Hater in the house. Hater in the house.
Speaking of which, Father Time, there's one guy that's defeated Father Time, and that's TB12.
Yeah.
And we've got to I know everybody's been talking about
it. Can't drink, though.
No.
It's the only thing that can slow him down, baby. Some alcohol.
That avocado tequila packs a wallet, baby.
Hey, man, have you been on the water drinking? Have you ever
Sure,
been?
I have.
Yeah, we all have.
This isn't our first rodeo,
Right,
Stinger.
Come on, Stinger. You're not the only one.
But when you do hit the land, it's a little different. So maybe the legs weren't the sea legs.
Look at him making excuses for the old Patriots.
All excuses for the old Patriots.
Hey, let's not get off track here.
Okay.
Let's not bury the lead.
The guy threw a spiral with the trophy from one boat to another boat.
Yeah, that was nice.
How about that?
I couldn't believe he did it.
I know.
That was
the Boy Scout.
I tell you what, not only was the throw perfect, but the catch was perfect. Yeah. That guy could have dropped it and hit somebody in the head, and then that person could have fell off the boat.
Hey, just so you know, that looked like so much fun. I'm going down to Tampa during the All-Star break. Just let you guys know I'm going down for a couple of days. That's okay.
Nice.
Yeah, that's good.
Get some sunshine.
Yeah, get some sun.
Out from under the snow.
Yeah, I'm going down just because of that.
Oh, my God.
It looked like so much fun. I got to get down there.
How about the daughter of the person who designed that trophy complaining that Tom Brady should apologize for throwing it over the water? I mean, are you kidding me? Yeah, I mean, they were saying that trophy, like the Stanley Cup weighs like 35 pounds. They were saying that only weighs like 3 or 4 pounds. So it wasn't that tough of a toss.
And if Southside Sue was here, she'd have a lot to say about the Lord Stanley and the cup and what the
well, there's plenty of stories about what's been done with that thing.
Yeah, I just think it was just a person just trying to get attention.
Sure.
That had nothing to do with anything. If he had dropped it and it fell into the water, then I could say, you got something to say.
Right.
But it didn't. And this is what we go back to saying. We're so uptight as a country.
Right.
Relax. It's a Super Bowl celebration. This is a guy who's, won his 7th Super Bowl. His team, some of these guys have never even been to the Super Bowl. Let them enjoy the moment. Let it go. It's not that big of a deal. Like I said, had it fell in the water, now you got a case. You probably can say that.
2-stroke penalty.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Now, speaking of quarterbacks, let's just, since it's rapid fire, let's just throw out some quarterbacks, and you tell me if they're a little bit of the clash. Should I stay or should I go now? Russell Wilson.
Stay.
Carson Wentz.
Go.
Where's he going to go, though? Not the Bears.
No, not the Bears.
Colts, right? That's his old coach, Frank Reich.
Yeah, he can go anywhere.
Just not Chicago.
Not the Bears.
Deshaun Watson.
Go.
They ain't going to let him go, though.
They should. Because he's going to be, in my opinion, it's going to be a messy divorce.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, it's going to be messy.
Especially if he holds out.
You got a player who doesn't want to be there. Now you got J.J. Watt has gone off that team, who was also a cornerstone and pillar in the community, was one of the leaders of that team. That team's morale is going to go down.
Just this morning, I saw an offer from Carolina. Did you see that? A McCaffrey and 3 first-round picks. So that's a legitimate offer. And I'm with Stacey. He doesn't want to be there. You got to get him out. You got it right.
Yeah, you got to get him out,
and
because he's the leader of your team. And if he doesn't want to be there, and he's not going to give you. I'm not saying he won't give you maximum effort, because he will. He's that kind of kid. But the vibe is not going to be there. It's going to be a really tough place for people to come to work every day.
But see, the fans are getting tired of these big stars forcing their way out of situations.
But
whether
you know
it's
what,
the
though,
NBA,
Mark?
the NFL, Major League
His
Baseball.
case is totally different, because he's not asking. He wanted to be there.
You signed a long-term extension.
You traded everybody around him that he came in with that were contributors. You traded one of the best receivers, if not the best receiver in the game, Hopkins, to Arizona.
Yeah.
You got to look at the front office. You got to look at the head coach. What was
Bill O'Brien.
Bill O'Brien. He was the one who messed this whole thing up. They gave him too much power. They allowed him to be able to make trades and sign players. He got rid of all these guys that were contributors to this football team, because Houston wasn't that far off of really being a contender.
Yeah, now they ran into New England a couple times, but let's get back to the should I stay or should I go now? Jimmy Garoppolo.
Go.
All right, Cam Newton. What do you do with Cam Newton?
Go.
Sam Darnold.
Go.
There's a lot of goes here.
Yeah, there's going to be a lot of musical chairs.
Yeah.
Who's going to have a chair when the music stops? And a guy like Jimmy Garoppolo, he's from Arlington Heights, took the 49ers to the Super Bowl just 2 years ago, and already they're saying, wow, he's too injury prone, he's done, we got to move him along. Would that be a guy that the Bears might want to take a look at?
Because he's from Chicago. Mm-hmm. It could be worth the look, depending on how much money you have to spend. The biggest concern with the Bears, is the offensive line. I'm going to continue to say that is the offensive line. You've got to address that. You've got to start putting some effort into that, because it doesn't matter who you get behind center. If they can't block anybody, it doesn't matter who you put Tom Brady back there. He's going to get dumped.
I agree with King, but I got to see something, some effort somewhere. Like, where are we going? Are we rebuilding like we talked about on our Zoom call, where they have $6 million in cap?
They don't have much cap space at all.
Okay, so what's the plan? I mean, I know they came out with their apology.
Save our jobs. Ryan Pace.
Well, this is like
That's
kind
the
of
plan.
a lame duck
Yeah.
season.
If they don't win, they're out.
Yeah. So, I mean, you could see a whole new front office, after next season. You could see a whole new coaching staff. I think what the main issue right now is not letting these guys panic and just sign a guy just to be signing a guy. Then you're locked into 3 or 4 years with that person. Look at the team where you need from within. You know what you need. You're here every day. You know what you need.
Their defensive coordinator said the defense needs a tune-up, not an overhaul. Okay, but you got two sides of the ball. The other side of the ball needs an overhaul.
Yeah, getting old on defense.
Yeah, but he said they just need a tune-up.
Right.
That's a
100,000
mile tune-up.
Yeah, but I mean, on the flip side of it, we know the defense is not the problem. The defense, regardless of how old they are, they're always going to play at a certain level here. It's always been that way. The defense has always carried the Bears, and it hasn't changed. But the problem right now is that you have inconsistencies on the other side of the ball. You have injuries to key linemen that are out all the time. There's no protection. You can't run the football. If you can't run the football on first down in the NFL, you are not going to have success. Okay, you've got to be able to run the football on first down, then set up play action passes to run all your other stuff. Even if you watch Tampa Bay in the Super Bowl, Tampa Bay established a run early, established screen passes early. There were so many different varieties the way they moved the football that you couldn't just key in on one thing. You couldn't say, "Oh, let's just take away Godwin. Let's take away, Michael, the wide receiver. What's that? The Michael.
From which team are we talking about?
Tampa Bay.
Tampa Bay.
The stud receiver,
Mike Evans.
Evans.
Yeah.
But you just can't key on those guys.
Right.
They were able to run the ball with Fournette. Fournette was getting 4, 5, 6 yards a pop.
Yeah.
Okay, this is the guy who got cut from Jacksonville.
Yeah.
That anybody could have picked him up, but they thought
And
he was
they
washed
almost
up.
released him in Tampa, I heard.
Yes.
You know, I think it gets back to what you're saying, like, because I know we're all fantasy driven, and I know that you're the 4-time champion, but
11 time champion.
11. Okay, it's hard
See, I
to
got
keep
that
track.
right.
You got it.
Yeah.
But I guess my point is that people
Check
don't,
the bubble up folder.
I will see that bubble folder, but the offensive line, people don't understand. Like, if you don't have a good offensive line, you know, I don't care who your quarterback is. It could be Superman.
Offense and defensive lines win championships.
Sure.
Well, as we're recording this podcast, pitchers and catchers reporting for duty down in Arizona. We'll talk more about baseball down the road. We just want to touch on one quick story since this is rapid fire. The Cubs bringing Jake Arrieta back. He won 2 games in the 2016 World Series, had one of the best pitching stats seasons in Major League Baseball history in 2015 when he won the NL Cy Young Award. But since he's left Chicago, he's had a lot of injuries. He's 35 years old. Stacey, what can the Cubs realistically expect from Jake?
If he's healthy, I think his mindset will be different coming back here. You know, pitching in a place he's comfortable pitching. You know, seeing some of the guys that he played with, you know, in the World Series and stuff like that. I think just being in Chicago's home. And I think if he's healthy, it's about health. You know, if he's healthy, I think he can have a bounce back year here in Chicago.
I'll tell you what, for someone who covered him during his glory years with the Cubs, when he was on, he was unhittable. So we wish Jake Arrieta the best of luck in his second tour of duty with the Cubs. Southside Susie wanted to talk about him posing for the body issue, but she had to bug out for her meeting, so we're going to skip on with that.
Yeah, because that's a guy code violation.
Yeah.
I was talking about a naked guy on the cover of Sports Illustrated. That's not going to happen.
So we're going to take a quick time out here. When we come back, we're going to go on the down low, a very interesting story from the world of broadcasting. And I want to hear Stacey's story about his drive home in the snow the other night. That's next on Gimme the Hot Sauce. Welcome back to Gimme the Hot Sauce. You know, we reference a lot of statistics in sports. I saw an interesting statistic on the local weather yesterday. You realize we've gotten 34 inches of snow in the last 3 weeks. The average snowfall for Chicago for the entire winter is 36 inches. So it's crazy how much snow we've been getting. And Stacey, you were right in the middle of it. I know that Windy City Limo made sure that you got safely to the NBC5 studios to call the game the other night. But you said you were white knuckling it on the way back, and you told the story about grabbing the wheel. What's that all about?
Hey, listen, man. All I'm gonna say is that shout out to Windy City Limos for getting me down there safe to the game and then back home. It was awful. To be honest with you, I did not think I was gonna make the game. The game was an early game at 6 o'clock. I left my house at about 2:30. I did not think I was going to make it. I ended up making there about 5:25.
No tire trouble. No tire trouble.
See, you know, some of this stuff is inside information. You know, you're like an old refrigerator. You can't keep nothing in. You know. So anyway, so we're driving down. It was tough driving down, but we made it. And so coming back home.
And it was really bad.
It was really bad. I mean, you had there was it's so bad when you don't see the lines. There's no lines.
Yeah.
People are just driving anywhere, and so what you try to do is you try to follow the tracks. You try to stay behind the back lights of a car.
But truck drivers don't care.
No, truck drivers. I'm gonna tell you something, man. If I would have had this guy's name or number, if I could have followed him to a truck
How am
stop,
I driving?
Yeah, no. It would have been how I'm driving. It'd been how I would have kicked his ass because he literally almost killed me.
Yeah.
I literally, if we could have followed him to a truck stop, I literally would have got him. Seriously.
Yeah, Buddy Holly was on the phone because we were talking about the great Bulls win, and Buddy Holly over here and the Big Bopper, he was giving us play-by-play, and I think he wanted to stop a couple times and help some pedestrians push their car.
Elizabeth, I'm coming to join you.
That wasn't gonna happen. So I'm on the phone with this clown, and we're talking about the game, and I'm over at the Stinger. So we're talking, and I'm like looking around, and it's so much snow coming down.
Yeah.
And we're sliding, and people are sliding. I see 3 or 4 cars slide off the road. Like I'm watching them slide off the road, and I'm like, wow. Like, am I gonna make it home tonight?
Yeah, it was a scary time.
And it was really scary. And then so John, after I get halfway down, after I almost get killed 2 or 3 times, John said,
we offered him shelter.
Hey, you know what? You could have stayed at our
After
condo
you're almost home,
after I'm almost home. And he goes, yeah, we could have got you in. I was like, Well, how would I have gotten in, John? I mean, how would I? Oh, we would have left your name at the doorman. so I said,
True story. We
yeah.
would've.
So I go.
Tim's butler would have let you in.
I was like, well, you tell me this now. I'm like 40 minutes into the ride home. It's like too late now, but I appreciate that. So, yeah,
but you were saying that you almost going to slide as the truck was going by, and you had to reach over and try to help.
I listen. It was quick hands. Just the impulse. The truck was coming, and there was no room in between the two cars, so he was. I mean, it was like seriously like Megatron off of. I thought it was the Transformers because I saw him coming from the side mirror, and there was not enough space for him to get in, but he made enough space. Just came in, and so the quick thinking. S King. 007, Tom Cruise,
Navy SEAL,
all those
that training,
all those trading day, all that stuff. Quick hands. I saved the day. Made sure we didn't go down. And my driver ran me. I'm gonna give him some credit, man. Seriously, ran me saved me. Rammy did save me.
And you know that Stacey is an action hero if you follow him on Instagram and other social media. You see the king is everywhere. Those are some great gifts and stuff you got.
Oh man, you know what? I found this app on Apple, and someone turned me onto it. And I have not put it down. It's like you just reface your face on all these different things, and it's really cool. So
the babies get a little creepy. I'll tell you
the mustache,
the baby with the mustache and the goatee.
Yeah. Southside wasn't a fan.
So make sure you check it out. You never know where Stacey King might appear. Hey, before we get out of here, there was one story that we had to get in the show on, and we apologize if we're running a little bit long, but we've had a lot of laughs along the way. And you know what would have helped you on that ride home is if you had a little bit of a bracer on the air, like Joe Buck told a story that he used to go out when he was first starting doing baseball on Fox because, he was a lot of pressure on him. He had to live up to his dad, Jack, who was a Hall of Fame broadcaster, one of the best of all time. So he said that he would send one of the runners out and in baseball stadium get the biggest beer he could find. And he would drink that beer early in the game to kind of relax his nerves so that he would remind himself, this is supposed to be fun. This isn't brain surgery. I'm calling a game. I'm trying to relate that I'm having a good time doing it. And then he went on, this segment's called On the Down Low, because this is really dishing some dirt here. He talked about him and Troy Aikman on the national Fox broadcast coming up with this concoction of tequila, Grand Marnier, and grapefruit juice that they would have at the start of the game to try to loosen things up. Yeah, okay.
Wow, really? I tell you what, man, I don't know. I know people listening to me probably think I drink. No, because I'm having so much fun. But
we do drink.
On this show, we have our little kegs and stuff
Aldi
here.
Beer,
but Aldi beer, Steve's beer. I'm a Stella man, ladies and gentlemen, but we have Steve's beer. But on the broadcast, because I have so much fun, so I know people, probably think, oh, Stacey King's drinking, but I would never do that.
Yeah.
The closest thing I drink is probably 5 Hour Energy. That's what I have to have before every game.
As King's producer, never saw him near a drop before, during, or after.
I'm a social drinker.
No, I've never saw him once. But I'm not surprised about Joe Buck because, St. Louis, Busch, Budweiser, his dad, Camo X, they had beer.
Sure.
I went into their suite. They had beer everywhere, and Harry Carey.
Harry Carey was legendary. You said Bob Uecker likes to have a product every now and again.
And Howard Cosell used to. I mean, it was just something that they probably just did. Smoked on the air. I mean, we're talking about comedy. You watch Richard Pryor lighting cigarettes up left and right.
Yeah.
Maybe he should have. In my opinion, I mean, you could say that. I mean, Joe Buck's an established guy, probably going to be a Hall of Famer,
right?
So he could probably. Maybe he wanted to talk to Troy Aikman and ask, is it okay if he throws him under the bus?
Hey, partner.
Hey, buddy,
partner.
I want to say we drink before games. Do you have a problem with that?
Yeah, right.
And Troy would have been like, I don't think so.
Yeah, this Troy's a different level.
Troy probably called him up after he heard that article and said, hey, they got a 2-piece coming. And without the soda.
Yeah, so next time you listen to a broadcast on Fox with Joe Buck and Troy Aikman, if they sound a little bit off the wall, well, maybe they've had a few cocktails.
There's a lot of things you want to know what's behind it. I mean, last week we talked about, Tony Romo with the astronaut diapers on. I mean, there's so much stuff going on behind the scenes.
Hey, speaking of on the down low, I think somebody might have slipped something in Chuck Swirsky's Mr. Pibb, because how about those victory dances he's doing on social media?
You know what? Chuck is he's enjoying his life.
Yes, he is.
And good for him. Just don't pull a muscle, Chuck, because every time I see him do a jerky dance, I'm just thinking he's going to be in a chiropractor the next day. So you got to remember, Chuck, you're having a great time, but be careful.
He's got choreography. He did the hustle the other day.
The circus will be coming to town soon. Maybe they can pick him up.
Who is in that room with him? Somebody's filming him.
It's our guy Rich Wyatt.
Oh, Rich is filming him.
Yeah.
Oh, I was like, who?
He gets extra pay for that.
Because I saw it. I'm like, who is filming Chuck dancing?
Rich does audio and video?
Yes.
Wow.
Do the hustle.
I was sitting there, I was like, who is filming Chuck doing this dance? Like, it's like, somebody's got to be filming this, because there's no way in the world he set a camera up there and started doing the hustle.
He's not that coordinated.
No.
It's what they call the cone of silence.
Have fun, Chuck. Hey, you're living your best life, my man.
Hopefully there'll be a lot more dancing coming up in future Bulls games.
Yes.
It seems like things are starting to go well, get those injured players back, and make a run at one of those final playoff spots in the Eastern Conference. And when we come at you next week, we'll be talking about the All-Star reserves being named. And before we get out of here, today is February 17th as we tape. It is Michael Jordan's 58th birthday. That's only the second most important birthday on that date. My daughter Brooke celebrating a birthday today. So happy birthday, Brookie. We love you very much.
Happy birthday, Brooke. Happy birthday, MJ, the GOAT, baby.
Our special thanks to Al Foran, who was just so fantastic. Make sure to check him out at all the social media sites. We will post that on the Gimme the Hot Sauce page, that you can check out where you can find Al Foran and maybe book him for your special
And
event.
if you can't drive home safely, use Windy City Limos.
That's right.
Yes. Beep, beep.